This is Den Furry Gamer, my name is Kiba Snowpaw and welcome to episode 19. Sitting inside Malo's room is like having a beehive jam over your head. Everyone is disorderly, chatting and talking among each other. I even been too keen on crowds to let alone being in a room filled with teenager mindless yelling into my ear, but the sign of Mr. Mallet standing at the front of the room gave me a little hope of the day not being completely disorganized. Alright everybody, be quiet. I'm going to be giving you your group number and jobs. The room goes immediately silent instead of what Mallet has to say because it actually had something to do with them personally. Mallet begins to list off kids' names and assign them to certain numbers, groups, and telling them where they will be meeting their supervisor on campus. Ellen, Eric, and myself were not called, which doesn't seem to catch anyone's attention, but Mallet does give us a small nod of recognition to let us know he didn't forget about our situation. Mallet talked a bit more about the festival and how much the little kids appreciate the work we do for them before dispatching the students to their group locations. The class empties out, leaving Mallet and the three of us together. Mallet sits down on a nearby table and looks over us with a squishy look on his face. So what is this thing about you guys skipping out on the festival? Elvik yawned sleepily, not seem to have gotten much sleep last night. Maybe he was up late thinking about the gig tonight. Well, we formed a band and we need a bit more time to practice for Yoko's party tonight. She hooked us up with a slot of time on stage. Ah, so that's the war kid I've been hearing about the whole way. He grinned excitedly before peeing down at Ellen with a doubtful frown on his brow. And what about you, Ellen? Are you a part of Elric's Sharangas? Ellen has been staring out the window like she usually does and looked to offer Mallet a nod. Yeah. He gave a seemingly impressed nod, looking to Ellen and giving him a thumb up as if supporting his ability to get Ellen into the band. Elvis simply pointed in my direction with his thumb, signaling it was me who managed to cajole Ellen into joining. Marcus wanted to learn piano, so Ellen's been teasing him a little, so it's kind of made sense for all of us to work together. Mallet crosses his arm in his seat, smiling as he glanced toward me. You certainly make yourself at home here, Marcus. I'm glad to see that. Trying at least. That's what counts. Anyway, I'll let you guys go get to it. I'll be sure to stop by the party tonight and listen to you guys. Awesome, we'll be looking for ya in the crowd. Mallet smirked, giving us a nod before venturing out of the room to go take a look at how the festival preparation were coming along. Ellen glanced between Ellen and me, standing up with a stretch. Alright, you two ready? Ellen nods hesitantly, possibly nervous about the outcome of tonight, even more so now that Mallet was going to be there in the crowd. Yeah, I'm good, although I won't be much help unless you want me to try and play the piano. Elvik pursed his lips in thought before giving a careless shrug. Yeah man, Ellen's been teasing you it, so maybe you can give it a try, though I don't trust you to be good enough for tonight, but maybe you maybe you can prove me wrong. The idea of possibly being able to be on stage or being in the first performance make my lip curl into a slight grin and glares over at Ellen for her opinion. She blinks a little surprised. She blinks a little surprised at my immediate glance to her for her input on the matter. You might not be able to play it perfectly by tonight, but if you're okay with that, I can try to teach you the most important parts. Sound good to me. Elway headed toward the door and waved his hand in gesturing motion for us to follow. Well, we better get started, otherwise you aren't going to be playing tonight. I stand up and chase after Elwick with bits of us is to whisper and hope in my step. Ellen followed beside me. No, you have it all wrong. Damn it, Marcus. Matt slammed his drumstick onto his instrument in anger before stepping over and giving me a strange look, only to jerk his head in Ellen's direction, who is sitting beside me at the piano. Ellen lets out a whimper, hiding behind my arm from the confrontation. We got 2 hours until the party. Ellen, show him how to do it again. This is your last chance, little fussy, otherwise Ellen is going to play it. I give Ellen a small shake to try and steer some curse into her, and as she gives a jittery nod to Matt before instead her finger out at the keys. Matt gave Ellen a pleasant smile but turned back to his drum. Let's start from the top again. Ellen looked at me with a worried look, probably fearing that I would fuck up again and earn myself a backstage pass. Listen and watch closely. I know enough of the song by heart now that I can do the chorus and the intro, but there is a section at the end that I can't seem to get right, and Matt isn't having any of it. Matt plumped back down in his chair and started up the song once more with his improved little drum step. Everyone else follows in after a few seconds, and the song starts from the top. Soon enough, Ellen is singing the lyric again, and the rest of us join in for the chorus. At the spot that I have trouble with approaches, I stare down at Ellen's quick-moving finger, watch the key she strikes with a focused eye, and tuning in with my ears delicately. Reading the music sheet won't give me the same kind of feel for how it should be played and how much passion I should put into my recital. As much as I try to concentrate, I only cast a fraction of it before it's over, leaving me with a nonchalant feeling. There's no way I'm going to be able to play it perfectly by the party. Dejectedly, I shake my head and stand up. Alright, I'm not ready for tonight. If we have more time, I'm sure I will garden it. Ellen looks up at me, shocked that I openly admitted I wasn't good enough. She must have had some deep faith in me to believe otherwise. But I could teach you just that part. I'm sure you'll get it. No, I don't think it's worth risking our first gig just for me to play. I could fuck up everything. The band goes silent for a moment, and Elvick gives a small nod, clapping his hand. Take one for the team, gotta respect that. Jay and Matt give a small nod of agreement, and I'm left to look down at Ellen, who looks defeated. It wasn't her fault I didn't learn fast enough, not at all. It was just the time issue. There was no way I was going to learn how to play piano well enough to play a song in only a day or two. It's not your fault, Ellen. If we had more time, I'm sure it would gotten it, but look at the bright side. Ellen peers up at me with a confused, hopeless look as if nothing was good about the situation. We had fun and I learned a lot. A lot. It'll help with later lesson, don't you think? Starting and keeping motivation is the hardest thing, and Ellen and I have been able to keep up our practice for the past few days without a struggle. I think that's a good enough omen for the future. Ellen seemed to catch on to my thinking and giving a small, still hesitant nod before smiling. Yeah, that's true. You learned a lot and we did have fun, I guess. I'll get the hang of it eventually, but for now I'm going to take a break and clear my head. I've been so worked up and worried about meeting a deadline I never had to meet it in the first place. I should take a breather and just relax. Me being so worked up probably wouldn't help the band either. Anxiety and is infectious. If you guys need me, text me. I'm going to find Yuko and see about the whole situation. The band seemed to nod in my acknowledgement and return to practices soon after I leave the room. The sound wave walking against the wall echoing down the hallway of the school. The music is soon followed by the soft melody of Ellen's voice, and I find myself pausing the hallway, just enjoying the sound of her singing, before forcing my leg forward, mashing myself down the hallway to find Yuko. Across campus, I spot the different prop-up building and stand that acts as the station for each of the games or kitchens. It's sort of like a carnival in a way, just not a flashy and with no amusement rides. At this point, more people are leaving than arriving. I take my time to explore about, seeing if I can spot any students I recognize working at any of the station, but I don't end up seeing anyone I know too well or talk to. Regardless of this being the outcome of, I get my fair share of food and drink and skip the games, feeling like they are all too childish to play along. Maybe if I were with Matt or Elric, I'll be more accessible in my head. Matt seemed like he will be very competitive, so that might actually be entertaining. Eventually I make it up to the last stand, which is a game involving stuffing your face in a plate of whipped cream and find a candy somewhere buried inside. Yuko and Detouring are sitting down behind the station, distracted by their phone, in Terrence's case, the book we were assigned last week. How much longer? 20 minutes. 20 more minutes. Terrence growled aggressively and smacked her head into the table before signing and glanced upward toward me. She blinked slightly, giving me a funny look, and then threw one of the candies they use for the game at me carelessly. There, you win. Now get lost. Yuko peers up from her phone, finally acknowledged me with a bright and happy smile. I think it's fair to say they've been waiting for a distraction for quite some time based on their bored impression. Hey, how are you two? Terrence pounced down her book and started chucking candy one by one at me, bouncing each one off my chest. Bored out of our goddamn minds. Yuko set her phone down, rolling her eyes disgustedly at Terrence. You know I gave you the book for a reason. It's good. It's a good read. You should be entertained by it. It's about freaking wind turbines and politics. How is this a good read? Chang takes another candy and throws it at Yuko's forehead, making it bounce off with an altitude tap. Yuko, stunned by the action, stared at Taryn for a moment before signing in, accepting that yes, Terrence is that childish. Please refrain from throwing hard candy at me, Taryn. Can I throw them at him? Yuko leans back in her chair with a noticeable exhaustion-sounding groan before shaking her head. Rebellious as Taryn is, she decides to flick one more in my direction, popping off my forearm and bounce back onto the table. I reach down to pick it up and pop it into my mouth, savoring the taste before giving Taryn a thumb up, tuning to look back at the energy depressive Yuko. Anyways, what's going on with your party tonight? I don't think any of us have been filled in. Yuko rubbed at her temple for a moment as if the mention of the party tonight had just brought on a major migraine. I feel sort of bad putting so much pressure on Yuko since I'm sure she'll she gets gotten 101 question today. Winding nowhere from the party to who decide it will be a good idea to let the kids who form the band get off of their usual festival duties. I'm pretty sure that everything is already set up there and Matt was going to drive everyone, or at least that's what he said. What about the instruments and amps? Yuko pursed her lips at my question and immediately started calling someone on her phone, walking off to speak with whoever was on the phone, leaving me with Taryn. Another candy hits me square in the face. Ow! Dead to the infidels. I'm an infidel. Yes. I gave up on Taryn's response, rezoning, letting her use me as a target present because of the harmless of the projectiles as I waited to find out the result of Yuki's phone call. A few minutes passed, followed by a countless candy strikes before Yuko finally returned with an persuaded sign. Hey, sorry to put you through so much work. It's alright, I'm used to it anyway. I ended up speaking with Mr. Mildred. He's willing to let you use his car for your instrument, and the hotel has his own amps and speaker and such. Alright, and when should we head over to the hotel? Yuko checked the time on her phone for a few seconds before giving me an uneasy smile, chuckling nervously. If you wanted time to set up, pressing and get used to the state probably about 5 minutes ago. Either way, Mr. Mallet will be out near the back of the school to pack your things into his car. I give Yuko an uneasy laugh and nod, turning on my heel like a robot before hurrying off back toward the school with a hesitant beat to my heart. Alright, thanks, I'll see you all later tonight. The car comes to an abrupt stop, making all of us nearly get whoomp from Matt erratic driving. After speeding into the last town on the Island Oak Bluff and nearly flying off the side of the road, we ended up in the underbelly of Yoko's hotel. Mr. Mallet arrived shortly behind us, helping us unpack our instrument and leading up into the hostel main building via a stairwell that echoes out each of our steps. I carry Ellen's piano and section of Matt drums set with strained arms. I haven't put much thought in it, but my arm isn't getting any stronger or better than it was when I first got my cast off. I probably should be taking the arm exercise and pistol therapy that my doctor advised me to do each day, but a bit more seriously. With me being so caught up in schoolwork, the band, and spending time with Ellen and my new friends, how am I supposed to remember to spend 15 minutes just swashing my arm every day? Maybe I should start doing them in the shower. Yeah, that makes sense. Two birds with one stone. I had a busy schedule these past few days, and I'm sure it'll continue to get busier if we pursue the idea of getting gigs around the Iceland this winter. Here we are. Mallet pushes open the door at the top of the stairwell and guides us inside the hotel. We are greeted with the sight of a massive open-air glass room with a room that is quite possibly a dozen of stories high. The room, which I assume is a lobby, is also filled with floor and water feature with seating scattered about, is lit by yellow hood lantern and lights. It's relaxing and fancy, definitely suitable to a 4-star hotel. I glance around and spot Ellen gazing in RV at the side of the ground level of the lobby. Have you been here before? Ellen shakes her head nervously and steps closer to my side, practically covering behind me as if I will ensure that no harm will come to her. It looks amazing, huh? Ellen offers a small smile before it contorted into a slight quail of uncertainty as the sound of footsteps approach. Aha! Remy, good to see you again, your old dog. I take a look back at Mr. Miller to see a new man standing beside him. Mallet, I see you brought your band of misfit students along with you tonight. That I did. They needed some help getting their instrument here for your party, so I figured I'd stop in. Yuko did call and ask about that little while ago. Do you all need some direction to the stage? Matt gave a nod, extended a hand outward to the man with a confident nod. Thanks for having us, good sir. We won't let you down. The man took Matt's hand and gave it a robust and very excited shake. Perfect. I love a man who grins when he fights. Matt retracted his hand after the handshake, and he has a partly confused look on his face as if he had missed something important. I think the rest of us are in the same shoes. What the man just said made no sense. Anyway, where to center stage? We still have to get ready for the opening act of the concert tonight. Wimmy snapped his fingers in resolution and nods. That's right. I apologize. Follow me, then. With an overexerted spin of his heel, the man guided us through the large lobby and down a hallway with fancy abstract art adorning the walls. With each one we passed, he gave a small description of who painted it or how he acquired it. The mindless chatter from Remy and Mr. Mallet goes on until we reach the back of a stage and the room that make up the radio and lighting controls. Here you are. I'm looking forward to your opening act. Assuming leave, he gave Ellen head a small pat which make her hug my side in discomfort at being touched by someone else. I can't help but get a bit worried if she can't deal with someone simply touching her How in the world is she going to survive on stage tonight with a crowd watching her every move? I wrap my arm gently around Ellen's side and give her a soft shake, trying to strike back in the confidence. What's wrong? Ellen shakes her head and pulls away from me with a few figures to strengthen her uniform, making sure it wasn't wrinkled or unsightly. Nothing. I gave a small shrug and give a look to the rest of the group, who are already setting up on stage, before returning my gaze to Ellen in the hopes that she was ready for what's going to come tonight. Think you guys are ready? I guess. I'm sure you guys will do great. I'll be on this side cheering you on the whole way. Ellen smiled a bit reluctant and gave me a half-certain nod. I'm returning my attention to the rest of the band and start to help out with setting up blocking in the encore. After a little bit, everyone is in their usually spot, with Ellen at the far left of the stage near the music and lighting room, with Matt on the far right of the stage. Elwick and Jay are wicked between them, with their string instruments strumming about on the mindless to get warmed up. Once everything is set up, Maldred and I relax in the seat at the very edge of the stage, just out of frame for everyone watching from the audience. Malin has a puzzled look on his face, with his hand rubbing at the tip of his chin in contemplation. Are you all actually ready for this? I hope so. I think they'll do just fine. Matt passed about, stepping over the encore, littering the stage like an auteur director. Alright, Squeaky, you're going to start off with the piano solo. I don't care what you play, just make it fresh and sweet, juicy. And Elwick, you're going to just follow up with a sweet guitar with something parodic. Matt nods and settles back down into his seat at the drum. And I'll finish us off and lean into the song with the drum solo. Matt takes a deep breath, look between everyone, meaning instrument, before nodding and shooting a glance in my direction. Hey, Slagger, go see when we are starting. With a groan, I stand up and redirecting my direction that Mr. Mallet's friend had lead us down. The hallway is starting to flow with mix of students, teachers, and random adults I never seen before, possibly parents. As I try to navigate into this cluster hole, I manage to bump right into Yuko, who has an overjoyed smile on her face. I was just on my way to speak with you guys. Oh hey, do you know what time we're starting? Yuko stared at me for a moment and glanced around the crowd, moving about in a large pack toward the concert hall. Sheesh, does my dad not tell you anything anymore? Your dad? You did meet him, didn't you? He said he greeted you all. Was he the guy with the mustache? Yuko smirked, entertaining by the fact that it is only the only thing I can use to actually describe him. Yeah, that was my father, mostly likely whammy, a little interact and feasible. Yeah, that was him. He's an interesting one, isn't he? A little bit, yeah. Hey, he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy once you get to know him. A little clueless sometimes, though I feel like I have to remind him of simple things sometimes. Anyway, I'm gonna end the episode here. I hope you liked this episode, and yeah, if you have any questions, please leave them down in the comment below, and I will answer them as soon as I see them. Anyway, see you in the next one.